Hi folks, welcome back to DevOps Architect YouTube channel. So let's continue the Jenkins training series, and today's session will be on Jenkins user creation and management, and we'll see how to create user, how to manage user, how to delegate the user permissions on Jenkins job. Yep. So let's start with a brief introduction on what will be taught today. So that is the user management, and the demo will be on creating a users, and then we'll create a, different rules for the users, how to access jobs, and what are the rules will be assigned for the user. So let's continue with accessing the Jenkins dashboard. So yeah, I have the Jenkins server running, and let me log into Jenkins dashboard. So I logged into Jenkins dashboard now. So basically, to manage users, you need to go to manage Jenkins, and there is something called manage users, right, under security. So if you create a user, so whenever you create a user, the user will be visible under the Jenkins user management. So let me create a user. Like, I want to create a user of dev one. So I just give the dummy user email ID. So I have the user now, but how to manage this user? So how can I delegate? How can I delegate the user permission by giving an access, or making this user to log into a specific job, right? So let me log out. Let me log out from this admin user and log in by the user, the dev user which I've created, and let me sign in. So yeah, so basically I can able to see my Jenkins dashboard and with all the permission. So it looks like I should be able to run the job. So let me try to run the job. Yeah, it is, I think it is running. The job should be running. I need to get into the job, and if you see this was run on the 24th August, and today, yeah. So the dev1 user is able to run the job, which basically, whether I should be able to run the job or not, with irrespective of the permissions, the user is able to run the job. So how it is possible? So as the dev1 user is an admin user or a normal user, right? So let me log out from this dev1 user and log in by admin, and see, let's see like what permission does the user has. So go to manage Jenkins and manage users. So the user is, though it doesn't have the admin package, I mean admin privilege, but is able to run or is able to do anything. So there should be some configuration in manage Jenkins, and well, let's see how the user is getting an access to the all the jobs or any jobs that he can run. So let me go for the manage credentials. Oh, sorry, so not to manage credentials, it is configure global security. So when I see the global security, there should be one option. Let's come down, and the authorization is logged in user can do anything. So here the culprit. So like by default, if I create a user, so the user can do anything, but it is not an admin, but the user can do anything. So now this is almost similar to the user. There is no control on the users, so the user can do anything. So what we're gonna do is like, let's go and install the package role based authorization strategy, the plugin. So that plugin will enable the user to manage and to control the user from accessing the different job. So let me go to manage plugins and install role based strategy. Yeah, role based authorization strategy. So it enables user authorization using a role based strategy. So roles can be defined globally or for particular jobs or nodes selected by regular expression. So let me download this and restart the service. So the download is completed. Let me restart the Jenkins service. So as I told in the previous session, so restarting the Jenkins is not recommended. So few plugins might really require to restart the Jenkins service after installing the plugin, but some of the plugins is not required to restart the Jenkins service after installing the plugin. So please be careful because this might impact the production, or impact this might create a problem for developers who are pushing the code, or who are building the software packages, right? So yeah, then Jenkins is restarted. Let me log into this. And now, so let me enable those global security as rule based strategy. So I don't want the users can do anything, or I don't want the user to function like a normal admin user, right? So I want the user to be controlled by the rules. So the dashboard is getting delayed. Let me refresh the screen. All right, should be some issue, or it might be a delay. All right, let me access the Jenkins dashboard. Okay, let me check from the backend if there is a the connection was lost. All right, I get into the system. Let me try to check. Let me check the Jenkins service status. All right, so it's active and running. So there should be some. Okay, let me reset the service from backend. This is not an usual case. Let me see this. Let me reset the Jenkins service. Cool. So it's restarted. Let me check the Jenkins status. Yes, it's active and running. Let me access. So this is not an usual case. So it's something looks like unusual. All right. So the Jenkins might be getting restarted. So all right. So I think I should be able to log in now. All right. Yes. So go to manage Jenkins, and here I have to enable role-based strategy. I have to enable the role-based strategy on global security. Sorry for the delay. I don't know why it's getting delayed. Probably might be the network issue, or not sure. So come to configure global security, and you get an option of role-based strategy. So now this will not allow the users to do anything. So this will allow the user to access the job on based on the roles that what you define. So I'll show like how to define the role and where it is basically managed. So save and apply. So now let me log in by the same user, the dev1 user, and see if I get the same access as I was getting it before in the previous login. So I don't have the access now because now the users are controlled by the role-based strategy. So let's go and create a few roles, and let me create a few users, and then, well, allow the users to access with few limited access. All right, so let me go to the manage Jenkins and create a users. So I have dev1 user. Let me create a couple of users. So I'll create test1. All right, so I have the test1 and the dev1 users. So I have two users which are created. So let me go back to the dashboard and now and create a sample job. So I wanted to create a sample job, go to new item and create developer one, or let me create dev job one, right? It's a freestyle project, so I'm just creating a dummy project, so it doesn't make sense anything because I'm not integrating anything now. For now I just want to create a job, and let me create one more job of test job one, right? And as well, let me create one more job as an build job one. So still the same, the freestyle project. So why I'm creating a freestyle project, because we haven't get into the different types of jobs, like how to build the job. I mean, like how to build the software package, and how to test the software package, and how to deploy the software package. So these exercises I haven't been at. So I'm just talking about the user management for now. So coming to the job, I will do it in the next class about how to build the software package and what basically you get the console. So in a detailed classes in the next few videos, right? So let me go for manage Jenkins. And now, so the manage users where you basically create a user or delete a user or modify the user's username or something, that what you can do from the manage users. And global security is where basically you can say that what the users can do, right? So whether the user can do anything, or whether the user should be under role-based strategy, right? So these are the controls that you can do it from global configure global security. But where is the option that I can manage the users by creating rules and assigning that rules to the users, right? So in the same manner Jenkins, if you come down after installing the role-based strategy, you get this option of manage and assign rules, right? So click on manage and assign rules, and here you find manage rules, assign rules, and rules strategy macros. So now I'll be going for manage rules. So in the manage rules, there will be global rules, item rules, and node rules. So the global rule is it is impacted to the entire Jenkins configuration, or to the entire Jenkins node, right? So item role is specific for the jobs. So the role what you create for the role what you create for the item rules, it will be specifically for the job access. And if you create a node rules, so the rules will be used for the accessing the nodes, like there'll be master node, slave node, or slave, there'll be a number of slave nodes, right? So for those that you create a node rules. So there is another class of master and slave architecture. I'll be talking about how the master and slave communicates, and how the job runs on the specific slave machines. So that will be in another session. But node rules is a scope of is the scope that you're giving the user to access the nodes, to access the node. It's not a specific job, right? So let me create a global role. So the global role is recommended because when you log in, so let me log into the dev one. Uh, Let me log in the dev one in the parallel window, because I just wanted to show you like why do we need a global role, right? Just a second. All right, so here it is. So let me log into this, and let me sign in by dev1 user, right? And here if you see, the dev1 is missing the overall read permission. So the user, if the user would have the global role assigned, and he could have got the global, I mean global in the sense like the overall read permission. So now if I don't have the global role assigned to the user, and if I just give the item role, still the user won't be able to access, or he won't be able to read anything, even though if he has the job, even though if he has the access to the job level. So let's see that exercise, but let me create a global role, right? So I want to create a global role of users, right? And I'll create had users here. I wanted to give him a overall read and the job. So I wanted them to discover the job, and I wanted him to configure view, create view, delete view, and read view, right? So I wanted to just give these options where, so this is a role, this is not user, but that's a role of users, right? So now coming to the item roles, so I wanted to give an item role. So there is the two things basically, role to add and pattern. So the role to add, so I'll see that dev dot start, or the developers, I'll see the developers. So developers is a role name, and pattern I can give dev dot start. So the suffix of any item, the suffix of the job which starts with, I'm sorry, so the prefix of a job. So the job with any prefix of dev starting with dev, so that the users who are part of the developers can execute the job which has a prefix of dev, right? So add this and give full permission, because this is a specific job, right? So there's no meaning if you can delegate the access, but still this is very specific to the job levels. So let me give full access for this role. So now I wanted to give for the testers, and the prefix would be the test. Add this again, and I will give the full access for this testers role, right? All right, so I'm giving a full access for this particular role. So this has been done. I'll not go for the node rules for now, right? So then now apply and save. So now you have the global rule, you have the item rule. So now in the manage rules, you can create a rule, or you can delete the rule, or you can modify, or you can update the rule. But where you can assign the rules, so you can assign the rules from the assign rules dashboard or the console. So go to assign rules. So here you can find there is a admin, as a global role, and in item rules, so I mean there is no group or user, right? So this is a global role. So for now I wanted to add the user or the group. So I'll see the dev1 and test1. So these are the users, and for the item rules, the similar way, I wanted to give dev1, I'll give a dev1 and test1. So I gave the item rules and the global rule. So now let's see, for item rules, I'll give the dev1 access the developers, and test1 I'll give a testers role, right? So now for that, after this, I'll just save and apply. So now though the user has an access on the role of test1 and the dev1. So now the dev1, the user is logged in, and now I let him to access. So he cannot access anything because the dev1 is missing the overall read permission. The reason here is I didn't allow the users to access the global role, right? So I'll add the users here, and the test one. So the dev one would be the like, these are the users, and I cannot give the admin, because if I give the admin, so this doesn't make sense, the item rules doesn't make sense, right? So I'll give the dev one and test one as a users. So basically, so now the users will get the overall read permission, because there was a users group or the users role which has a overall read permission. So now if I refresh this, the user should be able to access, right? So now the user is able to access, but is unable to build the job, right? He is unable to see the new item. So that is which is respect to the job, because the user should have the access on the job level, right? So now I'll give an access of build, cancel, configure, create, delete, and discover extended read. I can also give move, read, and workspace. So these are these are option of this is the option for basically the job level, right? So now let me go and let me go and refresh the screen. I should be able to see the new items. Right. So I'm not getting that. Just a minute. So this is the users and the job view run. Okay. So let me give this access, and let's see, the user should be able to see the new item. All right, let me log out and log in. All right, so on the job level, he is not getting access. So there should be something. Okay. All right, so you should read the system, and I won't give anything with respect to credentials, agent, and the run level is given, and the view level is given for the user. All right, so let me refresh the screen. All right, so not a problem. So let me give an access, like now the user should be able to run the job now, but the user is not able to view the job, right? So now the user is not able to view the job, but is just able to find, it is just able to see the dashboard, but is not able to see the jobs. So let me go back to the user permission. I'm sorry, I didn't save and apply. That was the problem here. So let me refresh the screen, and if you see, the user get a permission like from the overall read permission, right? So let me go for the manage rules, and I wanted to remove the overall read, the overall system read, and this should be fine. Me apply and save. Okay, oh, I'm sorry. So this should be the overall read permission, and in the job level, I can see discover, close, extended, move, read, workspace, configure, build, cancel. All right, so let me save this, apply and save, and okay. So now the user is able to now the user is able to read everything. So let me try to make the user to specific to specific, very specific to the job level, right? I wanted to make him to specific to the job level. So on the overall read permission for the users, I'll just make build, cancel, configure, create the job, read, run, update. Okay. Alright, I'll apply and save and refresh the screen, but still the user is able to read all the jobs. So let me see like what are the jobs I should be having here. Go to manage. I have all the job which the developer one dev one is able to see. So there should be some problem with manage users. So let me come back to the assign rules. So developers dev one, right? So go back to the manage rules and dev dot star. Okay, so let me modify this. So the matching projects is dev job one. So it should be only the dev job one. So where the users can see, but the user is able to list all the jobs, right? So in this case, I will remove the view option because let him have the overall read permission. So I don't want to give it. So this should be fine now. So I just given the job create and run, right? So come down and save this role, and refresh. Yes, now the user is able to just see the job like dev job one. So the problem here, what was the problem, right? So the problem was the view like configure, create, delete and read. So this can give the complete access. So he can view, but he will not be able to execute the job, right? So now let me run this job and he should be able to run successfully, right? So let me build now and see if the user is able to run the job successfully. So let me get into the job, and yes, so the user is able to run the job, is able to run the job and it is success, right? So the similar way, let me log into the test user. So test one as a user. So now he is able to just able to see the test job, right? So the prefix of test job and the job is successful. Now the similar way, I want to just create with another job that's names of with the prefix of dev, but it's different, like dev one or dev sample, right? So I wanted to create one more job and save and apply. Let's see whether the user is able to find this job in his user console, right? So let me log in. Yes, so the user is able to access the dev sample because this job is as the prefix of this job as a prefix as dev. So that is the reason the pattern can be matched and the user can run the job. So the user can run the job based on the role, based on the access, right? So this is all about the user management, and you saw that how to control the users based on the role based strategy. So guys, if you have any doubts or if you see any conflicts here, please write down in the comment section and I'll be happy to respond to your comments. So thank you guys, and I'll be connecting with the next video of master and slave architecture. So thanks for attending.